Alrighty, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. E here with a different video. We're not doing a construction update video this week. No, we actually have a video about Halloween Horror Nights.
TLEV Media, bringing the magic of the theme parks to your home.
From vlogs to interviews, TLEV Media is entertainment for all.
Now, I realize that we did not make a video talking about our thoughts and opinions on 2023. And since we're getting close to speculation season for 2024, that was a good idea to kind of recap 2023, but also talk about some things that already came out, some news that already came out for 2024. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 2023 Halloween Horror Nights has been done for quite some time now, for a few months now. We are in the new year. It is 2024. And you know what? Let's just talk about 2023 a little bit. 2023 as a year for Halloween Horror Night was a huge year. It topped 2022 for sure. It seemed like there was a lot more people coming to the event than from the year previously, which is pretty nuts because the year previously in 2022, we had big hitters like The Weeknd. I think because we had a big hitter like The Weeknd that we were able to see such a big year in 2023. Money came in, finances came in, everything looked great for Horror Nights. So they decided, you know what, let's get some bigger IPs. They went and got Stranger Things. They got The Last of Us to come in. Chucky was back. And those three houses that I just talked about right there were probably the longest waits for houses the whole time. I mean, when we went, how many times did we go this year? I went like 5 times or so. I went 5 times this year. And every time I went, those three always had very long waits. I'm talking 120 minutes to even sometimes 180, where they also reached max capacity, so they had to actually close down the line queue for those houses. Now, that was a big negative this year for a lot of people, was that this year very much showed that you can't really get a general admission ticket anymore to get through the entire event. Now, there might have been some days during the week that you could. I mean, every time we went on Thursdays and Fridays and Sundays, like the days that you usually don't have that many people. We went on even on the Wednesdays that they offered. Those days, they still had a lot of people. And I don't think it helped this year that you had to pay a little extra to get in for that early entry, where it ranged from $10 to $20 some nights. So I think that also didn't really help much with the crowd control. You know, previous years, early entry was free. I mean, this was the first year that it wasn't free. And it really showed, I think, that it wasn't a fan favorite. People weren't really actually getting that ticket because the crowds were it was still super packed. Big thing about early entry was it was free and it moved people a lot quicker. That was a little bit of a letdown this year, but in the year overall, I think 2023 has been probably one of its strongest years. Now, a lot of you may disagree, and that is completely fine. You can let us know in the comment section down below your opinions on 2023. But, you know, I did see some of the complaints being that they've kind of moved away from the scare factor and more of just iconic scenes from IPs. And yes, I would say that is up for debate, but there are some great scares still this year. There was a couple times that Universal Monsters got me this year that, you know, the scene at the end with the 3-way scare, that was phenomenal. That really got me a couple times. Chucky with the big Chucky doll. You know, we had such a great time in that house. That still got me a ton of times. The big Chucky. That scared me multiple times. We went through that house maybe 4 times one night, and each time it still got me. And of course, Monstrous, the shirt I'm wearing today, Monstrous was phenomenal. It was beautiful. It was scary. It was terrifying. I can see where people are disagreeing on that and are saying that, you know, they're turning into more like scenes for people to see, you know, like in Last of Us, where you had the bloater breaking the person's body apart. You know, that was a big scene. In the Chucky house, of course, it was very much animatronic heavy. And so you had times where Chucky, the doll, was like crawling across the table. You know, you can see little robot movements. And I get where you're coming from. That is mainly focused on scenes. But I don't think Horror Nights has gone away from the scare factor. I think what Horror Nights is doing now with this event is they are trying to reach out to more than just the horror crowd. With the addition of The Weeknd in 2022, it very much brought a music crowd in, a crowd that I don't think really would go to Horror Nights unless The Weeknd was there. Same thing with The Last of Us this year. I think brought a lot of big video game fans and maybe who liked horror a little bit, but wouldn't go to the event for, the big three: Michael Myers, Leatherface, and Freddy Krueger. So when we talk about 2024, I guess this kind of leads into talking about 2024. Some things I think we should be ready to see is more fan favorite new IPs. A big one for sure is probably Five Nights at Freddy's. We got a glimpse of Five Nights at Freddy's at the Horrors of Blumhouse, like the behind the Scream Horrors of Blumhouse thing, where you're able to see the costumes and all that kind of stuff. And Horror Nights loves to work with Blumhouse, so seeing Five Nights at Freddy's, I wouldn't be surprised for 2024. It's a fan favorite. It brings in both the video game crowd and movie fans. And the movie did so well in the box office. 2024, I have a feeling we'll see a lot more scenic parts of mazes or houses. More scenery. It's not going to be black walls. Years past, we were used to a lot of black walls. I guess you can debate and say that, yeah, there were black walls in, Universal Monsters this year. But every year it seems like it's becoming few and few more black walls. I think another big thing we'll see in 2024 is the use of older properties that we've had before, houses that we've had before, brought back. What I mean by that is there is a new location that we've been using and we've used in the last 2 years for Horror Nights, and that is right behind the Transformers ride. That spot 2 years in a row has had old previous houses there. First year that it was used in 2022, it had Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and the year after that, it had Holidays in Hell. Now, I don't think that is just a fluke. I think that is something that they are kind of leaning towards now. That spot will be reusing mazes. Do I like that? Yes, if it is the right houses that are being used. I think Killer Clowns and Holidays in Hell were pretty strong houses to use there, but there are some IPs that I don't think need to come back. I wouldn't be surprised if, if like next year we saw in that spot maybe Ghostbusters coming back because, well, Ghostbusters, there's a new movie coming out. But again, we're going to get into speculations once we get closer to the season. Again, when speculation season is closer, around next month or so, and I say that because it seems like for 2024, there's a lot more happening than previous years. And what I mean by that is John Murray, the creative director of Halloween Horror Nights, has been very active on Twitter, talking about the house treatments and that he's already written some of them. He's been working on a lot of them. I think he's just finished up like the script for the 7th house. So that's cool. We know that there's going to be 7 houses at least. But he's also recently had a trip to come out here to LA. If you guys didn't know, John Murray, he lives in Ireland, and he said it was a trip for Halloween Horror Nights, which made all of us kind of think in the community, like, well, usually you can do meetings and stuff like that online and through Zoom or whatever virtual meeting that you can have, but he had to come out here. So, of course, as people love to speculate, and of course, this isn't like a house speculation. However, in the community, there has been a lot of talk about a permanent house, a permanent construction, I guess, being placed for Halloween Horror Nights. Now, don't get too excited. I don't think this means that we're bringing back something like the House of Horrors or the Walking Dead all-day attraction. I don't think that's what it means. However, in our last TLEV show, we had John from the Hauntline come on, and he brought up a great point that he believes that there is going to be a sprung tent brought to the park. Now, if you guys don't know what a sprung tent is, that is fine, because I also did not know what a sprung tent was until John mentioned it. A sprung tent, essentially, if you guys have ever been to Universal Studios Orlando or HHN out in Orlando, they have these things called sprung tents, which are essentially permanent tents that are not made out of the normal tarps that we usually get out here in Hollywood. They are built to sustain things like if they had massive flooding or rain and stuff like that, heavy winds, all that kind of things. Those are sprung tents. I'll put some footage right there so you guys can see what those look like. But there is speculation, rumors, and he also brought it up a little bit, that we might be getting our own sprung tent. Where? Maybe in the H lot, which if you guys don't know where the H lot is, that is by the Curious George parking lot. We've had in the past 3 years now, we've had houses there. And so since that area is kind of just used as like a storage area right now, we might be seeing a sprung tent being brought there to essentially be there all year round. It wouldn't be like a house that's open all year round. However, it makes construction much easier to do. It's also good for scare actors because in sprung tents, you can kind of control the temperature and all that kind of stuff. So it will make it a little more bearable, I guess, in certain scenes of a maze or a house. So I think I'm going to leave it there for right now for 2024 and wait until we hear a little bit more and start speculating more down the line. Again, in review, 2023 was a very strong year. I enjoyed it. I guess we got to kind of get used to the big crowds. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon because Horror Nights is going to keep bringing in these big IPs. And yeah, I don't see that changing one bit. 2024, to me, I know nothing has been announced yet. It's going to be a bigger year. Bigger IPs, bigger houses maybe, and bigger budgets. So expect to see some really cool stuff. But yes, Horror Nights content is back, guys. It starts now. We'll be doing construction updates too for Universal Studios. So if you want to see all of that, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. A lot of you guys aren't being notified, so make sure to hit that bell so you can get notified. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy our content, make sure to hit that like button. Go check out our other videos. Go check out our construction updates for Universal Studios. You can go check out the TLEV show. We brought it back. We were having a great time with that. Our most recent one, we had John from the Hotline on. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. With all that being said, my name is Mr. E. Again, if you want to just support us, guys, just look into the links in the description down below for our social medias. Subscribe to the channel. That's it. And yeah, I'm excited to bring back some Horror Nights content. Again, like I said, my name is Mr. E, and I'll see you guys in the next extraordinary adventure.